How's your day, Jenny?
It's good. I stayed in Pacific Coffee for the morning. I'm sorry it's still taking some time to read your journal article.
Oh, it's okay. No worries. Good. I woke up, had breakfast, checked some emails, read some journal articles about concordancers, and I think that was about it. Just had some lunch. Might go to the gym later. Yeah. Morning number. Yep. Okay. Can we move this thing out? You think we can move this thing? Yeah, it looks like it's self-contained. Okay, we can try that. Let's make the space smaller, you know? Hey, Sudanka, let's give this a shot. Whoa, this is really exciting.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Wow.
I like this chair.
Yeah, and you can put a pizza underneath if you want. That's really cool. Okay. How about go here? Cool. All right. Where's my water? Hey, what's your name?
Nona.
Nona? I'm David. Nice meeting you, Nona. What's your name? Hugo. I'm David. Nice meeting you, Hugo. Sudanka. Hey, Sudanka. It's Jenny. I don't know. You want to make a start right now? Huh? We can be punctual. Are you a postgraduate student, Hugo?
Yeah.
You're a postgraduate as well? Full time? Oh, MPhil, great. In the ITEC division?
Yeah. ICT.
Oh, great. Oh, good. Oh, well, welcome. Thanks, Nona. Thanks for coming. I like your glasses, too. Sharp. All right, cool. Hopefully we can have some good takeaways. Let's make a start. My name's David, and actually, let's wait 2 more minutes. Sorry. Yeah. Did you guys sign in, by the way? If you want to find this website, it's where? Hey, hello. Hello. It is ejournal.wp.cite.hku.hk. Hey, over here. Okay. Streaming CITE presentation. CITE Seminar, the ITEC Journal Reboot. Great. All right. Do you guys have postgraduate hours, by the way? PGS hours? That's my supervisor, Bob. Sounds good. So Bob, you know, as I'm talking, you want to just like chip in?
Sure, yeah, if you like. I'll introduce you and we'll go through.
Hi.
That's a good idea. Did you pull the screen forward?
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's almost wireless.
Yeah.
Just one wire here.
That's great. That's just power. That's great. Yeah, it's just good. Oh, and then you've also got this.
Oh, yes.
Which could be.
There are lots of wires here.
Yeah.
It's a mobile front.
Yeah.
It's a mobile front of a classroom.
Could do with tidying up the wires a bit.
I think it looks better than it did before. You saw all the wires are kind of location. Sonia? Are you postgrad?
Yeah, I'm postdoctoral student.
Oh, wow.
PhD. Just started reading through this.
Yep, okay.
Okay, well, I think we'll make a start. It's 10:02. Thank you for coming, and welcome. This is the first for this academic year, to my knowledge, of our CITE Seminar presentation series. And I'm really pleased that we have David Wood, who is a PhD student here, who's been working with me on different things. But one of the things in particular that David has been really driving rather than me is the journal that we produce in CITE. The journal is called ITEC. Hello, hi. And it's been running for quite a few years. We set it up in the mid 200s, and the objective behind it was to actually create a e-journal that would be more kind of Hong Kong specific, and but also regional as well. That would also encourage our students to also feel that they could actually contribute and add to. David will talk more about this in a minute. But we had some problems with it because it looked very staid, traditional, and old-fashioned. And so I gave David the task of totally clean slate. You decide, you put up some ideas, and we'll have a look and we'll play with them. So this is really David's work, and so that's why I think it's particularly apt that David does the presentation. So David, over to you. Thank you very much.
Bob is my supervisor, by the way. And so, I really thank Bob and also Neil, who's often data collection, because we work together as a team to really change this journey, to transform it. And what I want to go through in my presentation is some of the problems that we saw, then some of the changes that we made, some of the feedback that we received, and then some of the things that we plan on doing in the future. Okay? And I also want to use this time more as a feedback session for you guys as well, and a brainstorming session, so that definitely feel free to ask questions, to comments. Hopefully we can think of some even more ideas to improve this journal. So, let me see. Here we go. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. Hello. Okay. Here we go. Briefly, if I can just full screen this. This is what the journal used to look like. And we've had this template since, I think, 2004. And if you just kind of look at it, it's basically a static HTML page. It was kind of dull. It wasn't as exciting as it could be. It wasn't very interactive. So there were significant improvements that we could make to the interface, right, and to the interactivity of the journal. Okay. I think there are some other issues as well. Under the hood, we actually didn't have much information on the journal. In fact, who was reading it, where they were coming from, if people were actually, contributing to the journal, how frequently, in terms of just coming back and visiting. And there's something else that we're really dealing with too is just having a stable, if not a growing, source of content as well, because our articles tended to be very limited, and every edition we put out, following that model, it would only have like maybe 1 or 2 articles. So we were thinking maybe even the model of the journal, having these editions, it may not be sustainable, it may not be the best approach to this journal. Okay. So we made some changes. Let's take a look. No, that's not what I want. Allow? Allow. Okay, thank you. All right, we made significant changes to the interface. We changed the template, and we were inspired by some other Hong Kongy websites. We wanted to make our journal more magazine-oriented, newsy, more interactive, and I think some pioneers in just developing these kinds of websites that provide such content, in fact, is the JMSC, the Journalism and Media Studies Center, and they use a modified WordPress template, and they use it for their main page, and they also, use it for some of your other pages, and it's a really nice way to present content, multimedia content, interactive content, and that was the kind of direction that we wanted to go in with the journal. In fact, we had already borrowed this kind of template for another CITE website, the Technology Enhanced Learning website, that Bob and I worked on in 2011. So we thought that this would also be a good kind of template to apply to the ITEC journal. Hello. So we applied this kind of template to our journal, and it looks a lot better. There's a lot more white space here. There's white space within the this area here. Not too many colors, not too pretentious, but it does deliver content well, I believe, this template. Okay. And we made changes not only to the template, but also the content. Previously, we just had HTML pages, no graphics. It was static articles, text only. And we decided to, make it more multimedia. So you can see that we have put YouTube videos, we've made links to blogs, we've added Flickr photos from CITE related accounts or CITE accounts. In the posts themselves, put some photos, we've put, does this work? Ooh, does this really work? Yes, it does work. We've even put Adobe Connect on here. YouTube videos. And again, even traditional articles, text-based things. All right. We've included PowerPoints and other media. Okay. And a part of this, adding this multimedia, is also expanding or broadening the publication range of the journal. Before, we had a more narrow approach. Again, it was text-based by volume and issue, and it was fairly narrow, and that created some kinds of constraints. But when we broadened the publication range and started publishing, hello. I gotta learn how to use this thing. Oh. We started publishing not only research articles, but a lot of other stuff that comes from our center, including exemplary student assignments from courses, presentations from conferences, dissertations, other things that I think are worth sharing. Right? So we actually just started sharing things that are, in fact, worth sharing that need a wider audience. So you can actually see that in the types of categories that we have. If I can get here. So we have things such as seminars, things from conferences, dissertations, other presentations, and we still do have articles. All right, but we actually just expanded beyond articles. And we also expanded beyond just traditional academics, yes, in terms of the authorship. Again, this really is a journal for novice practitioners and novice academics. It's for us, basically. I mean, this journal is for us, postgraduate students. This is a vehicle for us, and we really want to make this even more of a vehicle, that we could use it and use it to interact with each other and develop knowledge. So part of that was presenting more relevant content for us. Okay. We also made a few other changes that are under the hood, and that includes, and this is the most exciting part. Hello. Hello. Okay. Using analytics. And it took a while. We've been talking about this for a while. And finally, we were able to put some, data tracking software into our journal to start collecting data about all sorts of things. And that's the great thing about Google Analytics. It's customizable. It's a lot like the Android system, just feature overload. And we can learn a lot about this website that can help us to improve this website, including the languages that people are searching in, where they're coming from. Graphics, hello. I'm disoriented with this mouse. Okay, here we go. So where are people coming from? Hong Kong and the US. Take a look. Take a closer look. In fact, they're coming from just one place. And so this actually might be an aberration that we received a lot of visits from one particular place in the US. Most of our traffic does come from China, in particular Hong Kong. We can check these kinds of things. But I think we can also check important things like pages. Which pages are people actually looking at? I think that helps us too to cater our content. Oh, where is it? Here? Here we go. All right. So we can see the kinds of pages that they're landing at. And generally, people are coming to the front page. And then they actually check our review and submission data. And then certain articles. So, I mean, this is a good way to check what's popular, what's hot. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to present this too in some way where we can present like, oh, these are actually the most popular articles and most viewed articles. I think that's an important feature that we should add to the journal. So analytics helps. Okay. There were some problems nonetheless in making all of these changes. I think one that you don't really see at first blush is there are a lot of spam comments. Again, this is actually a problem with WordPress in general, and again, what happens in the world is once people find WordPress sites, and they especially like WordPress sites, spammers will just, in clever ways, start spamming things so that real comments are hard to tease out of all the spam comments. So this is actually something that we need to think about in the future is how do we promote that interactivity, that textual interactivity, but not through this comment section, because the comment section is being abused right now by spammers. And that's a real problem. We're thinking about maybe some kind of non-forum based platform that we could use or incorporate here where we can just have this kind of dialogue or commentary. But again, we can't use the comment feature right now because it's just been hijacked by spammers. And they're very clever in getting around the WordPress security features. That's actually another thing, security as well. There have been problems where photos and media have disappeared from the website because of, I guess, unrelated attacks to the site infrastructure. So there was an instance where I think site was being hacked, or something in site was being hacked, and as a result, we lost a lot of the pictures and things, and they just disappeared. Thankfully, they're back online. So security is very important. And what else? Well, I personally, it's great that we have all this content. Something that we're still thinking about is, again, making the content sustainable. Right? Actually having a systematic model of generating content and how we can keep this going. Okay, finally, looking ahead. I've already mentioned some of the features that would be really nice to add, including this kind of non-forum place where people can have dialogue. I think adding Twitter would be cool too. What else? Podcasts and more multimedia. Again, it's the whole idea of just having sustainable content that can just continue to generate by itself. Other things. Okay, 3 more things. One is I'm actually leaving. I'm leaving Hong Kong, and we need a new set of hands. Right now, Neil's off collecting data, and I am going to be off collecting data elsewhere. And this is actually, I guess, a call as well. If you're interested, since there's so many postgraduates here, in helping out and improving this journal and stewarding it, just let Bob know or let me know. We really appreciate your help and support in actually being a part of the editorial team. As well, something that we really want too is more involvement from postgraduate students, and this is a call too to you and the people that you know, to your spheres of influence, that you can also publish here as well. And again, this is a vehicle for you guys to share what you've been doing with a wider audience. So that's another kind of call for you guys, a challenge in fact, that we already have a lot of things here. Why don't we have your things as well? And we can help to improve it, and also in doing that, we can improve this journey. All right. I think there's one final thing too, And this is actually a surprise that we actually have a special issue. Nancy has put together a special issue on IT, and educational change in China from a global perspective. And this special issue will be featured somewhere on this ITEC journal soon, and we're talking about that right now. And for those of you who are doing research in China, especially educational change and information technology in China, definitely contribute. Because I think that's something that we're going to try to focus on in the coming year. We still have to talk about that, but I think we want to do that and move in that direction. I think that's about it. Yeah. That's it for just my presentation part. Are there questions? Any comments? I didn't actually have a job description. I just kind of did stuff. I think you reap what you sow. And a lot of these changes were not necessarily systematic changes. They're ad hoc changes. Just, wanting to change this and really stewarding it well entails being alert to what's going on and what we can do with this. And one thing I think that's important is just good communication between the team. So Bob and I and Neil and I, we were always talking to each other, bouncing ideas off of each other about how we can make these changes and whether or not changes in fact are the good changes or things like that. Working out logistics. So good communication skills. 2, I think being a hype man and a recruiter is very important as well. Just in the same way that I'm recruiting you and hyping this, I think it's also important to be an evangelist for this project, this journal. There is quite a bit of reviewing, actually reading over things and, again, suggesting changes to articles and content. That was a significant portion as well. All kinds of content as well, not just, again, research articles, but again, presentations, other kinds of things. As regards programming and technical skill, there wasn't much involved. WordPress is kind of complicated, but it's not too complicated. It's not as complicated as like Blackboard or Moodle. I guess I voiced my opinion there. So this is definitely a project where you can be very creative and you can grow it. And it just requires a lot of communication, I think, too. Did I answer your question? Yes. I think it's also important, okay, if you come from the IT field, you have some familiarity, right, with some of the concepts and some of the research that's going on. But I also think it's very important to just get a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh set of eyes, an outsider perspective on the content that's being presented. Because, again, it's not just for such a narrow audience, right? We're actually trying to broaden the publication range. We're trying to share as much as we can in a way that people can understand, right? And so it's good to bounce the kind of content that we're generating off of you guys who are not necessarily in our division or discipline, and see what you guys think, because you should be able to understand as well. And I think your comments are invaluable. I mean, the same way in my own research, that's part of the reason why Mark Ray is my co-supervisor. Because he doesn't come from this field, right? And so I better do a good job of trying to explain what I'm trying to study to him as well. Because it's for him as well, as much as people in the community. Answer your question? I think that should be a very good.
question after viewing the Google Analytics, I didn't quite see where the distribution channels were or the redirect link to the website is. I was wondering what is the current distribution channel is it like? Is it mostly on the website or is it in a bit as well? Or is it sent by medium to some of the separate channels?
Okay. Right now, all of it comes, this journal is online, and it's not published in hard copy form. And even the special issue is going to be just a PDF. And hello. It's going to be PDF and it's going to be put up here. I'm not sure if this is actually put anywhere else in a database. That's actually something that we can consider as well. Going back to the analytics, how do people actually get to the website? Where's traffic? See traffic here somewhere? Hello. Hey, traffic. Traffic sources. Here we go. How do people get here?
That probably means most people just have it.
Yes. It seems that way. For traffic as well. Yeah, they just. Oh wow. There's some links. And there's my blog over there. But it seems like most people are just coming directly to the site. And that's something else that we can consider as well. Again, this is about the promotion, how we can expand the audience and readership, not only the authorship. Did I answer your question?
Because I was thinking, well, I come from a data-driven marketing background, so I do use a lot of Google Analytics. Just wondering if there's any postage of flags around, because I'm brand new to kind of stuff. I was wondering if there's any kind of flags that would be available for people to just, for example, scan a QR code to get into the journal or stuff like that.
That's a good idea.
Good idea. Yeah, we did, when we started the journal, we did actually have flyers and we did send those around, but perhaps now is a good opportunity to rethink whether we can do more of that. And I think definitely the scanning is a great idea.
Yeah. This year, we sent out email calls, but again, we don't know how efficient or effective those email calls are. I like the idea of just actually having physical paper around campus. That's the way things tend to be done around here with those QR codes. I think that would actually be a very good way of promoting this.
Yeah, it's good. The journal is advertised in other ways as well. It's advertised both within CITE and also within the faculty of education, within the, for example, we have a yearly conference, the CITE Seminar, and then those people that present papers are encouraged to submit, to do and resubmit their papers for review in the journal. Our postgraduate students in the broad area in our division are also invited, and certainly those that I teach in the master's course in IT and LIM are told in all my courses that this is a possible other more public venue for them to publish their assignment work. So, for example, because the assignments that we set students are very often kind of practical and related to the workplace, we're saying to students, oh well, not only can you actually finish your assignment and then maybe give that information to your school to help them sort things out, but we could make it more public. And some students really appreciate that, so we've actually had quite a few, in recent times, students who have asked, well, can we resubmit our time? And some of the assignments are very practical, like this is how I use this new technology in my class to support language and literacy in primary schools. And this is, what we found, and this is the outcome. So that actually is quite useful, and that's one of the extra avenues in terms of expanding the journal that we're very keen to continue.
Well, could you just, it's a very specific
actually rethinking the scope. It's over here. The ITEC is a journal which aims to strengthen links between research and practice about IT and education, and to stimulate discussion and reflection in Hong Kong and the region. And again, we might be focusing more on China, or just putting one particular focus on China this year. And I think we are, meeting the aims. We're trying to stimulate more discussion too. And I think, again, that's something that moving forward that we need technologies to help us stimulate discussion.
Because also the title of the journal is ITEC, and so you have educational trends. Very often, because so much change is occurring in our curriculum, both at the school and university level these days, we would target those people who are interested in researching and talking about change in the curriculum as well. So we're pretty broad, and as David said, one of the things that we need to do is to reassess the actual text we put in terms of the scope. Because actually we've had articles published from much broader than we did. Well, if you include Australia as part of the region, I think initially we were actually thinking the region being sort of Southeast Asia. But in fact, that first article at the top there, our most recent article, is actually from Australia.
Yes.
My article is there too.
Oh,
Which is why
great.
I'm a library in information management.
You were the one, right? Okay.
Which is why
Nice
I'm
to see
wondering
your face.
how I was surprised when it was accepted in my group. It's not directly connected to education in any way. It's a book recommendation system.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm wondering what is book, whether education in any form or just the systems of education.
Yeah, we're fairly broad in that sense. So really, because I suppose the aim was initially to actually produce something like this that our students were engaged in. And our students aren't all tightly within the sort of the area of IT in schools. We have librarians, we have government officers, we have people involved in the publishing as well too. So we wanted to encourage those people to feel that this would be a good place for them to do some initial exploration and publishing. And it looks good on CVs, if you're a student, to actually have some record publications coming out.
And I remember you were actually presenting at
Yeah.
CITES 2012. And if you were accepted for that, likely, you're a natural fit for the ITEC journal. I think that's how your paper got actually
Yeah.
posted to
But otherwise, in general, I did the NLM course like that. I never knew what I did at all, honestly, for the 1 year.
Yes.
So yes, I think his point is valid, that within the faculty of education, there are not many people who are aware about the journal, and of course beyond that, what will be accepted. There's a lot of scope for people to actually, we do a lot of, like you said, it's part of curriculum. We do a lot of research-oriented projects in postgrad courses, and it is likely to do it.
Yes, thank you. Again, you tap into our revising the aim and scope to make it clear, and also the promotion, just sending a clear message to our audience that this thing exists, the journal exists, and we're open. And that's actually a very hard thing to do. We need a lot of creative minds to figure how we can send this message across.
Yeah, actually, I think it's actually quite exciting to have a journal that you can take it out of directing, its aims and stuff. And I think it's a good time for us to reboot the journal as well. Although it has been there for some time, but because again, interaction between information technology, the technology side, and also education. And when we talk about change, it can be change more at the sort of technology. Of course, when we say technology, we are more interested in technology that can be making an impact on learning or education. When we say education, it can also be, say, library system, which would be, I mean, I was actually quite interested. I sort of through your paper, and I thought that's very interesting. So because of, I think, so we are interested in sort of changes or advances in technology, which would sort of make an impact on education. But we might also be looking at how education has been changing because of technology. And it can also be how, education, how people who want to change education make use of technology. So that's one aspect. So I think it's up to the people who drive the journal to actually shape it. And I think the editorial board should be not just say, okay, I'm responsible for the website, I'm responsible for this, but much more sort of, okay, it would be great to have, so in a way to, if you think about, say, I don't know, say many students even in the high schools would be, say, running school magazines, school newspapers or whatever, and it could be on the CD. And of course they want to make it good. So what is the interest, is the need of the scope? And once you become an editor or a member of the editorial board, you will be much more alert to other journals and think about what you would like this particular journal to be. You might not want it to be competing directly with something, but there might be, you might be thinking about certain kinds of journals, which might, certain kind of sort of publications, which there isn't much around that people can sort of reach to easily. So for one thing, why, say, who are you targeting? Why should people be wanting to read this particular journal? So this is one thing. And so what's the aim and scope? What do you want to make of it? And then the other one is, I can see that the website is very attractive and you really want it to be interactive. So again, to get interaction is very good, but how do you get real interaction is another thing. And of course, when we first started, we were very much thinking about the students here, the student body. And would it work? So maybe you could also think about it. And another possibility also is, I mean, it's not either or. I mean, people might also be inviting special guests or whatever to certain websites and be discussing or responding on certain things. So, and you might also think about having particular featured articles, having the author talking and so on. So I think that's you might also think about possibilities. And in addition to having work from students, you might also think about, say, inviting someone, say maybe say one article per issue where you invite someone. You may also think about that. Some journals want to have special issues and they have a certain theme and invite people to contribute. There are pros and cons. The pro is you can have, because I mean, if you have a special issue, the good thing is you can have a group concentration of papers on particular theme, looking at things from different perspectives and so on. So that becomes a group collection itself. But of course the downside is in other articles who might wish to publish will have to take a longer time. So you might want, say, some journals might want to say, okay, no more than one special issue a year. I mean, that's for you to think about. And then another thing is, we were talking about, okay, can this become, well, it might not be something like a Harvard Education Review or whatever, but we would still want this to be seen to be, a proper academic venue for publication. So one of the things would be the kind of packaging. Packaging the interactive part and the online part is one thing, but I was also looking at the PDFs, and I thought it could be improved. So in putting together the special issue, the special issue I was putting together was in fact on IT educational change in China. Because, well, it was electric anyway, because I was planning for the CSCL 2011, and so I thought, well, because we had post-conference events in China, so I thought it would be good opportunity for people to try to know more about education in China. But even for me, I thought I don't really know too much, although I've been there, but I don't know too much about what's the kind of education research happening, and I don't really read the journals too much, and they're not that accessible, and I don't know which are the better ones and so on. So because I was working with the post-conference organizers, and so I said, maybe instead of inviting people to specifically write for a special issue, can you select already published papers in Chinese, and then if you think they are really representative of among the best of the work, and you can actually get a glimpse of what's the field like, then we could try and get it. Well, we ask them to then translate it, and we will try to do the language editing. I didn't realize the language editing took so much work. Yeah. So now we have a collection of 12 papers from different parts of China, and I think basically we have 3 sets. I mean, one was more like surveys about the kind of impact. So one is on impact of IT education in China. One of the papers was quite a big survey study on Western provinces in China. So that's more a kind of a more economically less developed area. And then there was another study on rural schools in the sort of more coastal, I mean the more affluent part of China, but the rural schools. And then there were a couple of more in-depth qualitative study on change, and then there was 4 papers on teacher education and whether teachers are taking this on and the challenges. And I think there were also 4 papers which were more sort of trying to theorize on change, or models of change for IT to have impact on education. So I thought that's quite an interesting area of papers. So now that we have got all the papers sort of more or less in this, we can't do anymore. I mean, we have to say, okay, this is it. But I wanted it to have a more formal presentation. So we've done a cover, and we've also done a layout for the paper. So we want so now the PDF, the first issue that we're trying to do, we would have PDFs for each of the papers in the issue, but also we would have them all compiled together into one. So we would have volume, issue number, and also page numbers. And the PDF would have on the top page the logo of the journal, the name, the volume, and so on, and then and the contact of the author, the corresponding author at the bottom of the first page and so on. So we want it to be properly laid out, although it's not printed. So if you, after you have sort of published this on your, say on the journal, then you can send people, okay, this is my published paper. At least it looks nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that if you like it, then you might wish to consider, at least for some time, to adopt the same cover, the same layout, and sort of like, so you have a kind of
Standard format.
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, we've been thinking about that, and so again, this is a venue for discussion and further discussion. Our journal is in some not set in its ways. We are not managed as if we were a silo. So this is actually a community building exercise right now. We're going to build a community around this ITEC, and hopefully you guys can be involved.
And especially if you don't want to do any China or any India, because in a way, if we see it very much a kind of journal anchor, then the people who are within this community do not only come from the region. So, and to broaden our sort of scope of contribution, I think would be really good. In fact, I mean, you might also wish, say, if they contact elsewhere, invite them to submit.
Yes. You guys have spheres of influence, and hopefully this is just the beginning of something special. Any other comments, questions, feedback? People contact you, Bob?
Yes, I think that would be a great suggestion because David is heading off for a year to he's got a scholarship to Cambridge University, so he'll be working there for a year. It'll be exciting for him. Hopefully, we'll still keep in contact and hear what's going on. But yeah, it's an opportunity for someone else to take David's place. So I think this is David said. I see this too. This is interesting, exciting. We have some models. We've got now a new possible layout that we can try to tighten it up, to make it look sort of more coherent, but at the same time allow all those other things in. And I think that's a really nice thing about this journal, that it does have videos, it does have audio, it does have pictures, which I think is really good because that broadens our audience as well. The teachers, for example, like obviously the more practical things they can use directly in their classroom. Oh, thanks, that's a nice idea of how you use that technology. We can run this for so that's good. So we want to keep all of these things going, but it's but it needs input from you. You are as our students and staff. You are crucial potential players.
You guys are stakeholders in this journal, and I mean, for me personally, it was a labor of love, and it's such an invaluable experience in just learning to steward this and to work with other people to improve this and to change it.
If you're a research student and you have PGS hours, you can actually use this as PGS hours as well. But we would need to let you know soon-ish, because this is the beginning of the academic year, so we can kind of lock you in. Or you could bid, yeah, or you could get a block. So in fact, it could be a number of you actually involved.
Yeah, that's right. So,
I mean, I feel like the amount of time that I put into this, the other website, the Technology Enhanced Learning website, and CITERS, this year is close to, I think, 100 hours. Yeah. So each of us as postgraduate students gets 100 hours of PPS. And this is actually a very good way to expend all of those hours. it's not just this journal, but it's tied into other things in the CITE life, including CITERs and the annual conference.
And then also, maybe we would like to suggest, I know we haven't actually set any sort of timeline or how many issues per year, but maybe, I think that would be a good thing to do. Say maybe to start with, we don't make it too ambitious, say maybe 2 issues a year, that could be. And then you might also want to sort of structure it a bit. Say some may be more research oriented, some might be more practice oriented, and so some of the, and then say if you can also attract some of the master students who might have some gadgets or some tricks or some small things or an app that they've done, and then so we might actually see whether we could have the interactive part put there. So they post there and they get some sort of discussion feedback, and then they sort of write it up.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I was just thinking about the class that Jane Harris was teaching, where they were developing their own apps. It was MITE 6333, wasn't it? And they created these beautiful final assignments that might be worth putting up here. But Jane also wants feedback on those too. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming back, and hopefully I will hear from you.
Cool. Thank you.